April 28, 1988, a routine island-hopping flight turns into one of aviation's most terrifying nightmares. Aloha Airlines Flight 233, a Boeing 737-200, prepares for a quick 40-minute hop from Hilo to Honolulu under clear tropical skies. The aircraft, registration Nevin 307011, had accumulated over 89,000 flight cycles. In the harsh, salty island environment, microscopic metal fatigue was a ticking time bomb. The crew completes their pre-flight checks, totally unaware of the impending disaster. Captain Robert Schornstheimer and First Officer Madeline Tompkins initiate takeoff. The 737 climbs smoothly out of Hilo. The flight attendants, including veteran Clarabelle Lansing, begin serving drinks to the 90 passengers enjoying the beautiful sunny day. As the aircraft levels off at its cruising altitude of 24,000 feet, passengers hear a deafening whoosh sound. In a fraction of a second, explosive decompression completely obliterates the forward cabin. The absolute nightmare has begun. A massive section of the fuselage roof, extending from just behind the cockpit to the leading edge of the wings, violently rips away. Passengers are suddenly exposed to freezing 300-mile-per-hour hurricane force winds and thin, unbreathable air. The cockpit door bursts open instantly. The pilots are met with a terrifying sight: blue sky where the first-class ceiling used to be. First Officer Tompkins is violently thrown back against her seat by the immense pressure drop. The wind noise is utterly deafening, making verbal communication between the pilots nearly impossible. Debris flies into the left engine, causing it to fail completely. The aircraft rolls dangerously, battling massive aerodynamic drag and catastrophic structural failure. Tragedy strikes immediately. Flight attendant Clarabelle Lansing, who was standing at row 5, is violently swept out of the aircraft into the Pacific Ocean. The terrified passengers, still strapped into their seats, brace against the sheer terror. The pilots instantly initiate an emergency descent, donning their oxygen masks. Honolulu Center, Aloha 2043, we've had a rapid decompression. We're descending. The sheer roaring wind makes the desperate radio transmissions barely intelligible to air traffic control. Plunging towards the ocean at over 4,000 feet per minute, the structural integrity of the 727 is barely holding together. The floor beams are the only solid metal keeping the cockpit attached to the rest of the plane. At 10,000 feet, the outside air finally becomes breathable, but the terrifying 200-knot winds continue to batter the exposed passengers. The pilots turn the crippled airliner towards the closest available runway, Kahului Airport on the island of Maui. The crew struggles to establish communication with Maui approach. The noise is so extreme they resort to hand signals. Maui Tower Aloha 2043, we are declaring an emergency. We need to land immediately, they transmit through the heavy static. Maui approach responds immediately, frantically clearing the surrounding airspace. Aloha 2043 Maui approach, cleared to Kahului, descend at your discretion. The controllers scramble emergency vehicles, having absolutely no idea the true extent of the horrific structural damage approaching them. Captain Schornstheimer takes manual control. The aircraft handles sluggishly, shuddering under the immense aerodynamic strain. The remaining flight attendants, bloodied and battered, crawl bravely on the floor, instructing the absolutely terrified passengers to immediately don their life vests. Maui Tower, Aloha 2043, we're inbound. We have uncontained engine failure and structural damage. The tower controller nervously asks, Aloha 2043, do you need assistance? The pilot's ominous and chilling reply is simply, we need all the equipment you have. As they nervously approach Kahului, another terrifying problem suddenly emerges. The pilots attempt to lower the landing gear, but the nose gear indicator light completely fails to illuminate. They face the possibility of a fatal nose gear collapse upon landing. The flight deck is a tense environment of rapid problem-solving. First Officer Tompkins attempts to manually lower the gear, but they simply cannot be absolutely sure it is locked. The control tower cannot see the nose gear clearly enough. Maui Tower, Aloha 2043, gear is down, but we don't have a nose gear green light. The controller responds, Aloha 2043, the gear appears down from here, crash fire rescue is in position. The perilous final approach begins. On final approach, the left engine is dead, and the right engine is barely responsive. The pilots must maintain a dangerously high approach speed of 170 knots to prevent the severely damaged airframe from stalling into the ground. The 737-7 staggers towards runway 2. Passengers look out at the flashing fire trucks waiting below, bracing for a devastating impact. The wind continually roars through the open cabin, ripping at their clothes and terrifying them even further. Just feet above the tarmac, the captain wrestles the crippled plane. Without flaps, the final approach is incredibly fast and steep. It takes immense physical strength and piloting skill to keep the fractured fuselage perfectly aligned with the runway centerline. The main landing gear slams violently onto the runway, followed moments later by the nose gear. Incredibly, the nose gear holds firm. The aircraft shudders aggressively as the captain throws the remaining right engine into maximum reverse thrust. Brakes screech incredibly loudly as the mangled airliner aggressively decelerates. Against all physical aerodynamic odds, the Boeing 737 finally grinds to a safe halt on the runway. The pilots have miraculously brought the shattered plane back to Earth. Evacuation begins immediately through emergency slides. First responders are absolutely stunned by the sight. The entire front third of the passenger cabin roof is gone, replaced by tangled wires, ripped metal, and miraculously surviving passengers strapped to their seats. The investigation revealed massive metal fatigue and widespread corrosion worsened by Hawaiian salt air. This miraculous landing forever changed aviation maintenance protocols, ensuring stringent, detailed inspections for aging aircraft, so this terrifying airborne nightmare never repeats itself again.